Hi guys, it's Oli from Rad Season. I'm excited to be joined today by big wave surfer Andrew Cotton. Cotty, thanks for joining us, man.
Hey, mate, no, thanks for having me.
Good stuff. So, whereabouts are you at the moment?
I am in my home in Braunton, in North Devon, England. It's been sunny the last few days. The surf's been pumping. It's been amazing.
Good stuff, man. And yeah, I guess I'd like to take it back to how you got into surfing and where you grew up.
Well, yeah, it's just growing up in North Devon, to be honest. We've always. So I was born sort of in Plymouth, which is south coast of Devon. Mm-hmm. My parents moved to the north coast when I was about, I think I was 7, but I'm not sure, but quite young. And then that's when I first sort of started passion with surfing and surf clubs and surf life saving and that sort of thing. And then it sort of just escalated from there.
And so I'm from London originally, and like I remember after work that's when I kind of first got into surfing when I was about 18, and like driving down from London to either Cornwall or Devon and doing the whole weekend warrior thing.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you go from surfing small waves in the UK to then surfing some of the biggest waves in the world in Portugal and Ireland and Hawaii?
Yeah.
What happened? Like what was the transient point?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. But then I think it's interesting, like now everyone sort of said, oh, you're a big wave surfer, and like, so I've been put in this box. But I don't think I was like, what's a big wave? I can remember like when I was learning to surf, or like in my late teens, Croyd 4 foot was like as big as it got. It was like the holy grail. So I can remember just thinking like pushing it at Croyd and which is home beach. There's loads of good surfers to look up to and to feed off, and everything revolved around Croyd low tide, and I just enjoyed it. I liked, like, the bigger it got, the more I sort of loved it. But when I say big, like, it was probably like the biggest Croyd gets really is like 4 to 6 foot maybe, so it's obviously not that big, but when you're 14, 15, it was like massive, and I can remember like when the crowds thinned out, the bigger it got, the crowds thinned out, and the more I loved it. And I think there's two sort of reasons. There's like, technically, like, I was never a very good small wave surfer or contest surfer. And I just sort of felt I had something in me where I kind of liked, being on the edge a little bit, like pushing it. I felt quite comfortable in the sea, which, I think I came from, I did a lot of swimming as a kid, like surf life saving, those sort of things. Like, so the ocean was quite comfortable place. And then from there, like leaving school, I just got a job and worked in the surf industry and sort of chased, the winters around, and again just ended up in places where I naturally got pushed. So I spent a few seasons in Hawaii, which is amazing, and such a good experience. And getting to surf, like, at the time, like Waimea was like the big wave spot in the world. It's like, and paddling there, like, I think it was probably like 18. I paddled some big days there, and like way out my comfort zone. But giving it a dig.
Were you surfing like Ireland before that, or
no? So I think I was just like every surfer I just always assumed that if you wanted big waves, you'd have to go to Hawaii or to Australia or South Africa, like not in Europe, because there wasn't really a big wave scene in Europe, at that point. So I always sort of did that, and I traveled every winter, and it wasn't until sort of, was probably mid 25, like 25, like 26, 27, when the sort of the reality kicks in. Is like you know, I couldn't continue traveling every winter for 2 or 3 months, you know, and you know, other things, priorities start to change. You start to look at your life a little bit, and it's like, you know, the living off discounted food from Foodland in Hawaii wasn't, you know, suddenly not looking so, you know, like so much fun. I started looking closer to home. And actually, one of my friends was sort of said, you know, like Ireland had massive waves, and I sort of didn't believe him, you know, and that's when that sort of started going there, really.
Yeah, cool. And then what happened? So when you were 25, were you like, did you sort of think, okay, like what am I going to do now? And like didn't you retrain and?
Yeah, so I've been working in the surf industry, and I sort of, which was amazing, you know, for me. Like when I left school, I wanted to be a professional surfer, and I was sort of like laughed out the careers office, you know, like surfing's not a job, you know, like you know, it's not, you know, it like wasn't on the checklist, you know. They're like, what's this guy on? Like, the kid's a dreamer, you know. And so, but the lady very kindly, like looked into the surf industry, and she got me a job in a surfboard factory, in Wollongong, Gulfstream. So I did that for like 10 years, and you know, worked in retail and in the factory, and shaped and glassed and sanded, and all the, you know, all the jobs, that ding repairs, and all the jobs that go with it. But it was, I think, more pressure from my parents. Like my dad was like, you know, that classic, you can't do this forever, son. You know, like what are you going to do with your life? Sort of thing. I was like, I'm quite happy. What are you on about? He's like, no, you got to get a trade. So he not pushed me, but sort of gently, like, sort of turned me a little bit and said, look, you know, you got to get a trade. You can't do it. So I retrained as a plumber, which was like 3 years of college, and then I did apprenticeship, and then I finished my apprenticeship, and then I worked full time as a plumber for about probably less than a year, and just realised I was just like, man, if this is it, so I'm 60, like I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like it was just like, so yeah, I didn't last long.
And then what was and then after that, then what happened? So there was you like, okay, I'm gonna try and push the surfing, and
yeah, like again, you know, like I was sort of, what did happen? You know, I think, you know, my friend from Ireland, Al Many, he was like, you know, he was a keen big wave surfer as well, and he was saying, you know, look, you know, Ireland's got some amazing waves, massive. You know, you don't have to fork out $1,000 for a plane ticket. You don't have to sit in Hawaii for months, you know, hoping for a swell. You know, it's we can hit it on charts, and so I just started doing that, you know, and I sort of just had I quit my job, which was kind of, it was my first proper job. I was installing solar panels and underfloor heating, and and it was a salary. It was like, you know, my parent, it was a thing. It was like ticking all the boxes, you know, and when I quit that, it was just like, parents were like, well, what the hell are you doing? You know, like, like, you know, from being in Devon, it's quite good to have a you know, good income, and it was like I probably could have got a mortgage or those sort of things, and I quit that, and sort of decided that I'd do, you know, odd plumbing jobs, you know, a few ding repairs. I retrained as a lifeguard. So the idea was that I just sort of had this idea. I was like, well, how can I do this? And I wanted to surf more, but still have a little bit of money. So like lifeguarding for the RLI was perfect. They train you on all the equipment. They train you on jet skis. You get to learn some amazing skills, and you get to train every day in the sea. So I was just like, they're going to pay me to do that? Like, sign me up. So I did that for a few seasons, trained in the summer, and then just focused on the winters, trying to hit the swells. So some winters were I spent a few seasons in winter seasons in Ireland, like cold, miserable, but we did all right. Got a few waves. It's good.
Nice. And then when did you start going to Portugal? When?
That was 2010. So that was more, like when I started going to Ireland, we started getting more exposure, and I was sort of, I got a bit more support from brands, and I started working with Analog and Gravis, and so I was getting a bit of money, sponsorship, and then I started going to Portugal in 2010.
Cool. I moved over to Lisbon in September last year, and went up to Nazare for the first time during the comp when that was on. And
the toe comp just gone.
Yeah, and like for me, you see photos of it and you see videos, and it's massive. Like I've been to Puerto Escondido, Mexico, and seeing that firsthand, and then like driving up and going down the road and walking to the lighthouse when Nazare was on, it just blew my mind. I've never seen anything like it. And
it's hard to believe. It's like, what how is it so relatively new? Like why? Like it's been like right here. You can walk to it. You can see it right there. Like like all the myths. Like the 100-foot wave was going to be like a Cortez Bank. It's a mission to get to. It's in the middle of the ocean. And
it's just a quick drive down the motorway from the airport. So
it's 45 minutes from Lisbon Airport. There's a big lighthouse there, and you can sit literally like 100 meters from like the biggest waves in the world. It's like what? But, there you go.
And how did you? So like when you first surfed that place, I mean, was it like obviously it wasn't that side? Like presumably it wasn't that. You were coming in first before towing in, and.
So Garrett McNamara was doing a project there with City Hall, Nazare, Town Council, or whatever, however you want to, whatever you want to label it in like UK terms, So it's like the council, and so he was like the talent, and they had him. They wanted him to surf the wave, North Beach, see if see how big it was. And see how possible, it was just a tourist thing, we got this amazing waves, and they believe, they obviously rightly believe that, it was the biggest wave in the world, like the few of the crew in the City Hall there.
Yeah.
But they just obviously had no one to surf it, and there is a saying that there is a real hardcore crew of bodyboarders that hang in Nazare, but I suppose they you needed jet skis and stuff. They were charging it when it was like 6 to 8 feet. Super heavy, because Nazare is really good when it's small, really good. And so then like obviously now the coast like being like, but when it starts getting big, there's so many good waves on that coast. Like, I suppose, why would you want to hang around Nazare?
It just opens up to everything, and you can go surfing, like almost in the city. Like, there's point breaks and stuff, and
So I suppose you'd say, well, it's so much water moving, it's so dangerous. Like, I suppose everyone was looking at it and just going, to Super Tubes, or there's a few slabs down the road, and into Lisbon. There's loads of ways. So I suppose it just got ignored. So Garrett needed people to help him, basically, just because he needed ski drivers and someone to drive safety, and he got hold of me and Al Many to support him. I think we went first on the list. There's a few other guys before us, and I think Garrett was testing the water with a few different people, and he just phoned us up and was like, "Can you drive a jet ski?" And have you driven a jet ski in a beach break? And I sort of hadn't, but I just said, yeah, I can do it. Don't worry, I'll be fine.
It looks pretty hectic as well, right? And driving the ski.
Yeah, I could drive a ski, it's fine. And then like got there, I was like, shit, I'm not ready for this. But it's good. It was interesting, you know. Like I learned so much. I was very out of my depth, like, you know, and I happily admit that. I was very out of my depth, but Garrett, I like to say he was patient, but you know, he was just like he was also very focused and very vocal. You know, just like had lots of days of just him shouting at me constantly, like, you know. But my point was like, you know, I was there to drive a jet ski. You know, my passion's surfing. You know, I don't want to drive a jet ski the whole time, but I was sort of always in the back of my mind knew that he can't surf the whole time. You know, like I just knew that. You know, I was like, there's going to be a point. But yeah, there's going to be a point where he's going to say, "Oh, I'll drive a ski," you know, and you can have a wave, you know, and he did, and he, because Garrett loves driving the ski as well. You know, he loves surfing, but he also loves driving the ski, and yeah, so from going there as like hired help, like safety, to then towing Garrett, and then him towing me, and it's just, you know, that's just how it went. So sort of, and then like all the paddle sessions came in, and you know, I learned so much in such a short space of time, you know, because coming from England, I didn't have that access to, you know, all that information, because it's such specialized information, isn't it? You know, like that knowledge is so specialized, and it's like, who do you tap up? Like, how do you tap into that? And I sort of just fell in there, you know, and was, you know, understanding it and seeing what he was riding, he was using, and boards, safety, how you approach waves, like how you drive the ski properly, you know, like, you know, it was just, I was just like a sponge, you know. I was like, right, okay, this is like, this opportunity is only going to happen once, so you just got to take it, or just give up, or go back to plumbing, you know. That was it. So it was this or plumbing. So.
And you drove him in on, I guess, on the Guinness book.
I was driving the ski on the biggest, on his Guinness World Record. But yeah.
And how did that change everything? Did that bring way more?
Yeah, again, like, you know, like very under the radar. You know, the guy who drives skis, like, it's the thankless task, isn't it? You know, and but for me, it wasn't about recognition at that point. Like, I was just there to experience, to understand, to you know, like, weirdly, we just swapped. Like, I think so I'd been surfing, then Al had been surfing, then I'd been surfing, and we just swapped, and then that set came through, you know. So, you know, close to, you know, it could have been, you know, close to getting that wave, but at the end of the day, I wasn't ready for that, you know, not how he surfed it as well, you know. But he's really interesting, you know. I lost, like, you know, and on that wave, he was screaming at me to put him deeper, and I was just like, it's so big, and I kind of thinking, I don't know, Garrett, like, you know, it's not, I can't see you make, like, so I kind of put him on the shoulder, and he was a little bit pissed off, but he was just like, I think if he'd gone any deeper, I don't think he would have made it, you know, like, and it probably wouldn't have been what it was, you know, because it was how he positioned himself and how he rode it was just perfect. Like, you couldn't, you know, he got blasted by the white water, but kind of just squeaked around and out of the wave. And I think, like, if he had been a few feet deeper, like he wanted to go, like, I don't think he would have made it, you know. But all those things happen for a reason, and it was definitely good to see how he approached the waves, you know, and how he surfed, and how he, you know, liked to be driven, and how he drives.
And like, after that, were you then going back and doing winter seasons there? Was that like consecutive, like year after year?
So then things sort of changed. So I think that the project ran for like 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like the North Canyon show, it was called. I think it was the North Canyon show. I'm pretty sure. Anyway, so that was 3 years. And that was usually October, November. They did that, and then he came back for the big swells. So we did that for for 3 years, and I just realised like I'd be sitting in Ireland, like usually like prior to that, like, and Ireland gets amazing waves, but it doesn't always get that big. Very often, like it does get big, like gets massive, but like very rarely.
Yeah.
You know? And even actually, whenever I've travelled, like you get one big swell a season or one or two big swells a season. But we were spending time in Nazare. It's like shit. It's big every week. It's 20 feet. You know, like it's like whoa. So you're just getting, and it like big wave surfing's about exposure, and like you're just trying to normalize. You know, like you want to get more and more comfortable in the most extreme situations. Yeah, and the best way to do that is just to be in the most extreme situations. And if you can only do that once a year, it's going to take a lot of years to get that experience. Yeah. And with Nazare, you're doing it like every week, like through the season. Like sometimes it, so you can imagine like everything was just getting like big waves becoming more and more normal. So therefore like everything was progressing very quickly.
Yeah.
For me personally, you know, like, and it's just, it was just nuts, you know, like, and no one was really on the ball with it, you know, but we had it for like 3 years almost by ourselves, you know, like.
Would you say like because it was so regular, that would help you guys and help this core crew with the whole just the mental factor of riding these kind of waves?
Yeah, because it takes time, you know, it does take time, and you need to you know, you need to be on it with, you know, your safety and your team, and you know, it very much is a team sport, you know, like when it gets that big and in that environment, you know, you can be the best surfer in the world, you know, but unless you got a good safety team and a good guy on the radio and a good ski driver, like you ain't getting waves, you know. Like, you know, you need a good solid team, you know, like, and yeah, you know, we worked together a lot, you know, and no one was there, you know, so it was kind of easy, you know. We had the monopoly of that for a few years, you know, so good.
Yeah. And then in 2017, that was when the accident happened, right?
I broke my back in 2017. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. And how did you? Yeah, I mean, like, how did you then go back physically? You know, and then mentally, kind of going back to that. How, like, what were you doing after it happened? Or even in the lead up to it, you know, I mean, like this is something, you know, that can happen, I guess.
It's like that was. It's just, you know, for me, it was just an injury. Although be it was, you know, it was quite obviously quite a severe injury, and it could have gone either way. And but it's just it, you know. It's just how it goes. And I think you go. I was devastated that morning when I lay on the beach. Like I was kind of more angry at myself because I knew it was going to be just with the numbers and the swell direction. I knew it was going to be a special day.
Yeah.
And I kind of like, so sometimes like there's days when it's worth putting it all on the line, you know, like, you know, to get those rides, you take those risks, you know, and sometimes big wave surfing's about being in flow, and it's about peaking at the right time, you know, letting it all come together, and you know, making sure you take the risks at the right time on the biggest wave, you know, and if it comes off, then you know that's how you ride the biggest wave, you know, and that's how you're going to ride the biggest wave in the world. You know, you have to. It's all about timing and about you peaking with the ocean at the right time.
Yeah.
And I lay on the beach and I was like blown it. It's like 10 o'clock. It's like I knew the swell was going to peak it like in the afternoon, and I was like, you know, just so angry. And I was right. Like Rodrigo Kosher got the world record that afternoon, about 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. There you go. Like, you know, I should have been out there. You know, like that's how annoying it is. You know, like you're like, why? Like it's just. But you live and you learn. That's how you learn. And the rehab and stuff like that, like it's kind of quite mentally, I'm quite, if I know, like I don't mind putting, like I quite like putting in the hard work, and like it's, and if so, I was really fortunate. Like I got sort of checked out from hospital in Portugal, and obviously they just said, oh, you've got compression fracture, here's a brace, lie down, stand up, don't sit, so it's all very basic, like so it was kind of like shit, like what's, how's this going to play out, like I wouldn't really know. But Red Bull got me straight, like as soon as I got back to UK, got me straight into a specialist in Manchester, met a load of x-rays and scans, then straight to see physios at Harris and Ross, and then they just map it out. Right, this is you just need to do that, that. And then if you do all these things now, then there you can go surfing again. And for me mentally, like I'm just like, yeah, okay, all right. And that's what I did, like I just blanked out, this all the surf that I was missing, and was like, okay, right, this is what I've got to do, and I just threw myself into it. Like really used it as an opportunity, and it was tedious rehab, like breaking your back. It's like there's a lot of trans abs and core, and I was walking around in the swimming pool for hours, and I was again, but I'm really fortunate to have really amazing support, not just from sponsors, but also friends, family, and just got into the rehab, and there it was.
How long did rehab take before you were back in the water, before you were surfing it?
I think I was sort of surfing at home.
Okay.
It's hard because you kind of, like, you can surf.
You can sort of test it out, right? And you can
surf, but you're not really surfing, and that's kind of frustrating too.
Yeah.
Like, because you want to, and it just takes time. So you have to sort of, you have to ego check yourself. You have to, like, okay, right, hold it back. Just take it slow. These are the sort of steps, and So, but I was back. I think I was pretty much back, like surfing big waves within a year. I was back at Nazare within a year.
Wow. And how was how was that first day going back to Nazare?
It was.
Were you thinking about it at all, or were you like, okay?
Yeah, it was. You definitely question. You do question it, and you sort of think, I was thinking, is this really? Because everyone says, oh, like, it's a bit dangerous, isn't it? Maybe, you're lucky, maybe, and I'm like, oh yeah, maybe I don't want to be doing this, maybe, maybe that's not, maybe it isn't my, you question, like, is this my passion, or is this the job, or is, like, why am I doing this? But then as soon as you get back out there, like I said, right, I'm just going to take it easy, and like, oh no, maybe I don't want to do it, like, maybe, and then you get on the rope and you get one wave and you take it easy, and you get another one and you go a bit deeper, and then you're like, oh, right, I want the biggest one, I want to go really deep, like, it just, and then you, like, answer all the questions. You're like, yeah, so yeah, I am doing this because I love it, like, it's like, it's a passion, it's not doing it, for anything else, I'm just doing it because I love doing it, and I think that's really important. That's a really important thing, because if you're following your passion and like your heart, I think it really, like, things play out, for the better, rather than if you thinking, yes, as a job, or you're doing it, because I might get exposure, or I might get money, or whatever, like, I just don't think it works out the same, I know. Well, no, I was gonna say, like, I suppose I found out, like, like, I followed the money with the plumbing, like, and then realised very quickly that, like, it doesn't matter how much I was gonna earn in a salary a year, because if you hate plumbing, you hate plumbing, like. right? Like, so it kind of like all sort of it works itself out.
That's cool, man. And like what's going through your head when you let go of the rope? Is are you sort of you're so focused in that moment of just making it and making the bottom turn that you know what are you thinking about?
I'm just thinking about like I don't really think when you kind of like everything naturally just blends when you start surfing, you know. I don't think about. I think if you think, oh, I don't want to get injured, or I don't want to go too deep, or you know, that's when bad stuff happens. But if you just naturally surf and you get into a nice flow, like you don't want to be thinking. You don't want like you just want to be surfing, you know, like
Yeah.
And I like to like look at the waves before a mind surf, and you know, and I just think about the lines that I want to take, and you know, and how I want to push it, you know, and every session or every season, there's slightly different goals and limits that you want to push or things you want to focus on, and you know, so yeah, it's not really like you know, there's nothing like you're not really thinking about. I don't think about falling off. I don't think about not making the waves. I think about I'm going to make the wave,
Yeah.
you know, and I'm gonna go deep, and I want to go fast, you know, like I don't go into a wave thinking, oh, I don't want to go too deep, or I might fall, or you know, it might get hurt. You know, you can't. That's got to get out of your brain, you know, like.
Yeah. And how's so like now with everything that's going on? How have you been training and like what have you been up to at home?
Well, you know, like I've got a great little setup here at home, like so some weights and a watt bike if it's raining, and you know enough stuff to keep me, you know, on point. I love cycling, so I've been cycling quite a lot, and North Devon's amazing for cycling. And been surfing, you know, like, and that's it. And then do few yoga sessions a week, maybe some breath stuff with Andrew Blake, who I train with at home, and we come to Portugal quite a lot as well. So me and him do quite a lot of stuff together.
You've got you run like kind of like a fitness.
Well, it's not a retreat; it's like a course, you know, like. But okay. It's not a big wave course. It's kind of I'd say it's like an ocean confidence course, or you know, we just. It's just bits of my training which I found really useful and really interesting, and which I've benefited from. And it's kind of like those sort of things are kind of unique, you know. So being able to just share that knowledge and you know and help people, you know, like it's not everyone. Again, because it goes like like surfing is quite personal, and everyone has, you know, what's their big wave, you know, like a big wave to someone else to hit, you know, him might be 1 foot, but to someone else it might be 6 foot. To me, you know, it might be 80 feet, you know, but everyone has their big wave, you know, and their fear, and how you get over that, you know. So
and what like any personal goals like that you've got set out for this year, or what are you really working on at the moment?
I don't know, like personal goals. I think they always sort of stay the same, you know, like you like the goal is always, you know, I want to surf the biggest wave in the world, you know, or the biggest wave of the year. But I think for a few years I sort of beat myself up a bit, like trying to do that, and then sort of now it's like the goals, they're like the you know, like the top ones, you know, like, but the real goals is just to be on every swell, enjoy my surfing, you know, take calculated risks, and it's a marathon, you know, like the season's a marathon, you know.
Yeah.
So don't go all out on the first swell of the year and at the beginning of the swell. So and these are the things I have to tell myself like constantly, because I do like, you know, like I do want to just go nuts, and I do want to, you know,
just get too excited on the first day.
Yeah. So it's like things. It's like you know, you got to check yourself and you know, remind yourself. And like this season that's just gone, you know, it was a really, for me, it was a real, like I had the competition was like the, you know, that's a pinnacle of the season, and it was like leading up to that, you know, and like you want to be on every swell, but you don't want to be like, because you can get injured, and it's really easy to get injured at Nazare, you know, not even just surfing. You can flip skiing and you know, do your arm in or your leg, or you know you've seen how it is. And
yeah,
so it's not just the surfing that's dangerous. It's, you know, like just being out in the ocean in those waves is dangerous. So, you know, it's calculating those risks, surfing the right swells, not being too greedy, getting the right waves, you know, surrounding yourself with really good, positive people with similar goals, and you know, and I think it will come together, you know.
Cool, man. And you'll be back to Portugal, hopefully, you know, if you can later.
Yeah. Well, I think Portugal's relatively open though, is it not?
Yeah, they're opening up. They opened up a couple of weeks ago, and then the border with Spain opens on the 1st of July.
Right.
So, yeah. So like, but people can come in from the UK, from the EU, as of a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah. So, yeah, like, you know, the season starts late September, so you know, fingers crossed. Yeah, fingers crossed. You know, just get back and get back into it. You know.
Cool, man. And if anyone wants to get hold of you, what's the best way?
Get hold of me. Well, I'm probably most active on like Instagram, but like, you know, I do all the social stuff, you know, like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, it's usually probably the best way to see what I'm up to and keep following. So yeah.
Right. Cool.
All right,
Thanks, Cotty. It was great speaking to you, man.
Yeah, thanks very much. Cheers, Ollie.